Welcome back. You're probably used to hearing about black boxes, usually helping investigators solve especially airplane crashes. But Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray of Massachusetts found out the hard way that they're in some cars too. When he crashed his car, he told police he had a seatbelt on and he claimed he wasn't speeding. But the data recorder revealed he actually was driving unbelted and faster than 100 miles an hour. But beyond the fact that he was an idiot, there is a larger controversy here. The boxes tap into the electronics into newer cars to track vehicle speed, airbag readiness, if you're wearing a seatbelt, and more. The cars that have them are supposed to disclose it in the owner's manual, and now federal government wants to make them mandatory for every new light vehicle sold in America, saying it's a true lifesaver. But privacy advocates say the black boxes could turn your own car into a spy for insurance companies that want to raise your rates. I'll start with you, Gian-Carlo. You got a problem with a black box being in your car, and now there's no way around it. In a funny way, I always thought when you have an easy pass and you're going from one exit, let's say on the turnpike, to the next, there's a fixed amount of mileage and a fixed amount of time. I was surprised you don't get a ticket if you had a lead foot already. This, in effect, it's proof evidence. They're trailing you wherever you're going and what you're doing and what you're wearing and what you're not.
In the car black box example, it's a trade-off. Everybody knows that when if you're a bad driver, you're going to pay more in terms of insurance rates. And this technology just sort of expedites that process. And I think one way, if the insurance companies were smart, that they'd market it the other way and say, look, now we know everything about your driving habits. Guess what? You'll be rewarded for good behavior.
Isn't it a little freaky, though, Don, though, that they know if you're wearing your seatbelt, where you are, where you're going, I mean, how fast you're going and everything else?
It is very scary. And with the Easy Pass, if you say you're headed home to your wife, we can check and see, well, you know, you didn't really get off at that exit. You got off at another exit.
Subpoena in the records of the black box.
To buy flowers.
Yeah.
To buy flowers.
That was great, yeah.
That's good.
You got an issue with it?
Well, it's worse than you're making out in this example. The traffic cameras take pictures of cars and license plates. Some states and local governments sell that data to private sector people. The problem isn't the use of the technology. The problem is that the person who's subject to the technology doesn't have a choice of whether to opt in or opt out. If you want to opt in on the grounds that it'll lower your insurance rates, you should have that right. If you want to turn the damn thing off, you should have that right. That's what makes the American Constitution, the American system different, and these companies and the governments are not giving people the right to opt out.
And let's all agree on one thing. The black box got inserted into cars not because I think that the federal government wanted to get into driver safety. This is that the insurance companies lobbied to make sure they did get put in. Sure. So if some guy does something stupid here, they'll be able to bring up the records. All right, now it's because of issues like these that we here at the program are digging into privacy issues in the 21st century in America. And frankly, these issues are going well beyond whatever laws are on the books, and we're kind of dealing with them on the fly. Now, all week long, we're going to be bringing a special investigation that focuses on your privacy, or you could argue lack thereof. We call it Surveillance Nation, Identity Exposed. Now, in today's world of smartphones, security cameras, tracking devices, the line between security, privacy, civil liberties is getting blurrier and blurrier. Privacy advocates have long warned that employers, lawyers, or law enforcement could acquire detailed profiles derived from tracking and use it potentially unfairly against people. It appears the government could be watching you in ways that Orwell never even thought of. And our investigative reporter, Kim Lengel, she took stock of her own digital footprints for one entire day, morning, noon, and night, and she tallied up every moment that she could be tracked. Now, on Thursday, we're going to air an hour-long special that you don't want to miss. But here now, just a sneak peek of what we'll be covering.
I'm one of millions of people that pass through Times Square every year. Between the tourists and the commuters, it may seem that everyone blends in. Someone or something is watching. Silently and constantly, there is an unblinking eye recording, storing, and analyzing your every movement, and maybe more. From the moment you wake up, you're unwittingly feeding information about yourself to corporate and government databases. Will it rain today? When you speak a voice command to an artificial intelligence program like iPhone's Siri, everything you say gets sent to Siri's big data center in Maiden, North Carolina. There, it translates what you said and returns the best results back to the iPhone.
It doesn't look look like it's going to rain today.
Siri's forecast may not always be accurate, and if you're worried that Siri might have loose lips, privacy experts say you should be. That's because Apple won't say who can access the data or how long they store the data.
I don't think you'd understand a joke in my language. They're not so funny. Anyway.
Funny and inappropriate jokes included. The company also admits to collecting a bunch of other info from your phone, including the names of people in your address book. That's one for Big Brother. If you get your news online, guess what? Log into Gmail or search on Google. Some internet companies like these keep track of the websites you visit, the content you search, and ads you click on. They rely on your data to put out more ads that are tailored to content you've been searching for. Even here on the road, your image and data are being recorded. Closed-circuit TV cameras send data back to traffic management centers where workers look for disabled cars or drivers that might need help. Believe it or not, even inside the car, there's 2 devices tracking my every move.
Now turn right.
You'd be right if you guessed my GPS, though it's actually my cell phone running a GPS app. Many people don't realize that cell phones are constantly registering location information with cell phone networks through towers like these. In response to a congressional inquiry this past summer on the explosion of cell phone surveillance, wireless phone carriers reported that in just the last year alone, they responded to more than 1 million demands from law enforcement to identify the location of a particular cell phone. Let's not forget the Easy Pass. This is one of those options where you're trading a little bit of privacy for a ton of convenience. Paying tolls electronically raises a few worries. First, that your personal information could be used illegitimately. The computer system you've surrendered your credit card number also records data about your movements and habits, and no computer system is immune to hackers. If you think you can escape Big Brother by taking public transportation, you're wrong. Even though swipe cards usually aren't tied to a specific account, many stations are equipped with surveillance cameras. Getting to work, you'll likely encounter several devices that employers often use to keep tabs on their workers. Key fobs and access cards are used to prove your identity electronically. They can also grant or deny access. They also contain an RFID or radio frequency ID chip that trips the sensor, automatically opens a door. The time of your arrival and the door through which you entered has been recorded in the company database. By the time you enter the workplace, you should be ready to smile for all the security cameras that'll catch you during your day.
That's just a little bit of Kim's day, and she didn't even make it to lunch before she hit the double digits there. And just think about what it might be before she turned off the lights at the end in terms of how much surveillance there is. Now, again, our hour-long special, it's coming up on Thursday, 6 p.m. In the meantime, go to our Facebook page and tell us what you think about living in a surveillance nation. I gotta tell you, depending on the generation, there's either a shrug of the shoulders or people really concerned about it. I want to get your opinion. If you've got nothing to hide, should you worry about privacy? One of the various questions. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we all know about that hoax that was perpetrated against the new soon-to-be parents in the royal family, but criminal charges against the people who perpetrated it. We'll talk about that after this.